Let's begin.
Here we go! Hi, everybody!
Start the insanity.
You are not worried, are you?
Me? No.
Well, we're waiting.
Hello, welcome to Super Media All-Stars. We're a weekly podcast, and today we are talking about movies. I'm your host, John Harris. I'm joined by three other All-Stars. First one being Jake Boston.
Hey Google, play Old Dirty Bastard on Spotify.
We have Anthony Boric.
Give me a drink.
And we have Kevin Jensen.
That was my attempt to
Well, I think Anthony was trying to talk to fish. I'm not sure, but
Jesus.
I got nothing.
It didn't work.
Why didn't Google play Old Dirty Bastard?
Because there's not one in this room.
Oh, well, why
I just
not?
want it, if somebody's listening and has one in their house, I want it to say, playing Old Dirty Bastard on Spotify. It's funny when it does that.
I see. I got you there.
Get you.
We got a great episode tonight. We're doing a little special on our episode 69 here. It is the holiday season, so a lot of movies came out over the holiday break, and we're going to break down a few of them tonight. First one being Bumblebee, Mary Poppins Returns, and Aquaman.
That's a lot.
So, how's this going to work? We'll be giving a 15-minute timer for each movie.
Super strict.
We're going to keep it spoiler-free, trying to keep it a general discussion, just for the sake of our audience, and I think we could probably talk about this thing without going too far deep. And then and we'll have a 2-minute warning for our own reviews. With that being said, we're going to start off with Bumblebee. For the record, let's list off who saw Bumblebee.
I saw this one.
I did too.
I did not, but I'm actually anxious to see it. I've heard nothing but good things.
I saw it as well. So this is a prequel / soft reboot. I will say this movie starts off with one of the best scenes in any Transformers movie ever. And it takes place on Cybertron.
Oh my god!
See, that's a spoiler right there.
No,
they
no,
showed
they
the
show
trailer.
that.
They showed the trailer.
Oh, I wanted
really.
the whole movie just to be that.
It looks so good.
Oh, it's like watching the old cartoon. Like,
Okay.
That part does look good because everything on Cybertron is CG.
oh,
Yeah.
And it looks gorgeous. Like,
It
you've always
does.
wanted them to go there.
As they kind of promoted, this is more of a calm down Transformers. It focuses around Bumblebee and his relationship with Charlie Watson.
It's a more focused Transformers, John. A nice coming-of-age 80s film.
And they lay into that heavily.
Yeah.
The 80s references are constant, which
Yeah.
is okay for world building, but
Yeah.
you don't. The soundtrack is almost nonstop throughout this entire movie.
It's
I
also,
loved.
It's also filmed like an 80s film. Which I
That's
thought
true.
was a very nice touch.
Yep.
As shown in the trailer, we also had John Cena as Jack Burns.
So surprised you could see him.
Dun, dun,
Jack
dun, dun.
Cena's Jack Burns sucks.
So I actually really liked what's her name, Haley Steinfeld.
Haley
Oh,
Stein,
and this
she
is
great.
is the best part of this movie.
You guys talked about her last episode.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, and
As a
she's
Spider-Man.
yeah,
I
she's
really
Spider-Man.
like her.
She's
Yeah.
fantastic.
She's had a hell of a December 2018.
Exactly. So what's great about this one is, compared to other Transformers, obviously, let's cut back on the Michael Bay part.
Yeah, because he's not here.
Exactly. Which
He's a
was,
producer. That's it.
which is what the series needed, honestly.
Yeah, because in here you can actually tell what the fuck's going on in the action set pieces.
Yeah. And the animation is
Everything's
like,
Not
hey,
just
it's
brown and gray.
Like instead of like everything like zooming in and seeing just like chunks of metal scraping on things, they pull the camera back and you see them like fall off of a cliff.
Oh, see, that's cool. That means it's like more like a well choreographed fight scene.
It sure
Yes.
is, and he has a lot of expertise at this from Kubo and all
Yeah.
the stuff he did with Leica. So
I think he has a background in animation, if I'm not.
yeah.
Yeah.
Kubo and the Two Strings.
Blue
Yeah.
and the Two Strings is
So-
a great movie.
And it definitely pays off here because with the amount of Transformers we have, it's very limited, but you still get like the Rock'em Sock'em robot effect, a little more done elegantly.
Yeah.
Hey,
And-
you guys gotta be excited to see this movie now.
Well, I'm building it up for you.
Keep holding on to that for just a little more.
From the way we're talking, I think we all have different. You two might have a different reason than me as to what works best in this movie.
So what works best for me, I'll go and kick it off here. What works best for me is the animation, but also like it doesn't do anything inherently Transformers, where it's cliches. It's a little cheesy. I'm gonna say it's a little cheesy at parts. Some plots they develop in the beginning that's almost too easy at the end.
Yeah,
Yeah,
her special talent.
Yeah.
that biggest eye roll.
Me and
Right.
Anthony had that same effect.
Yep.
So
And there's some
vomit-inducing.
John Cena lines that were like, is this the Marine? They're so bad.
But
They're
I think
so bad.
in its defense, I think it is trying to be like an 80s type of movie to where like they're just cutting up the cheese.
I think so too, and I think Daniel made a point. Now that I'm realizing this is still geared towards kids,
It is.
and maybe a kid version of me would have liked some of these lines in here.
And that's why Haley Steinfeld works as well as she does. I think this is another Venom situation to where like the lead actor in this movie helps the movie out so much.
Yeah.
Because without her, I don't know who else could do it as well as she did.
Yeah,
I really don't.
She's a much better actress than a lot of people give her credit for.
Yeah,
I mean, after like Pitch Perfect 2 and 3, where she just
I liked her in those though.
but she went off and did music for a while, and it was like, okay.
See, I loved her in True Grit.
Well, she got nominated for an Oscar for True
She
Grit.
was great in that.
She was fantastic in
Edge
that.
of 17.
Oh, I love that.
Imagine that movie, except I think that movie's
Except
rated
she's
R.
not annoying.
It's like a
She's super annoying in that movie. Don't even start.
yeah. She's a
She-
teenage
exactly.
girl.
She's super annoying in that movie.
She's kind of like a depressed version of that girl.
So one of the things I didn't like about this film, it felt like a lot of fluff in the middle here. There's a lot of scenes I'm just like, why is this here? It barely contributes to the narrative, and a lot of it is based around humor too. That honestly falls flat for me.
Humor, as in like
Like
Haley and Bumblebee.
Yeah.
What's her name in this movie?
Charlie.
Charlie. Okay.
Yeah.
Charlie and Bumblebee. You didn't like that stuff.
It felt like filler, and maybe there was kids in my audience that weren't laughing either.
See,
I'm not sure if it was a misfire.
there's stuff. I'm not a big Transformers fan to begin with,
Sure.
but give me like a girl and her car story, and I'm all in. That was the stuff that works strongest for me.
He loved monster trucks last year.
Ew.
That was a boy in his truck. Big difference. No, but
I
you
couldn't tell. I never saw it.
You remember when you got your first car and like how much freedom you had, and that's what's going on here.
That's true. There's an aspect of that.
Yeah, except your car can fucking climb cliffs and do anything and save your life, and you can just do whatever you want.
Right.
So much fun.
I think
It's like a regular car.
what I found myself doing was hanging too much onto the old Transformers lore that really doesn't really apply to this anymore. Because I've unfortunately seen majority of them, and with any Michael Bay movie, the continuity is just destroyed. So what Travis Knight did here was kind of, like I said earlier, it pays homage to because it's a prequel, so it kind of leans into the movies already established. But he's kind of saying at the same time, like, I'm gonna do my own thing as well.
Well, no, because in the Michael Bay movies, Bumblebee does not speak.
Correct.
And in this movie, kind of like they do a solo and give you a reason as to why he doesn't speak.
Right.
So in that way, I think it is like a prequel to those movies because they just kind of sew threads from the original Michael Bay ones.
Sure.
And they don't necessarily need to.
And without spoiling it, there's characters introduced at the end of this movie that don't belong on Earth yet.
Nope. They're just
Yes,
there.
exactly.
Because
So,
it works out.
yeah, Anthony had a big gripe about this.
Oh man, at the end of the movie, I was just like, really? No.
You missed the Linkin Park song, right? At the very end. You just needed that cherry on
I
top.
would have taken that over what they did at the end.
No. Get out of here.
Back to my original point, I want to see what you guys think. But with the fluff and the humor that didn't land, I honestly found myself looking over at Anthony, over at Danielle. I was pretty bored with this movie.
It did get boring. There were parts of the movie where it's like, really, this is dragging on.
I didn't think I was going to be the one defending this because I think we're all going to have the same outlook. But I was more bored when robots were fighting.
Oh, no.
See,
really?
that was the most
Interesting.
Yeah.
interesting part to me.
No.
That's the only thing that landed
I-
for this.
There were some good parts, but like, again, it's just like robot on robot action, and I didn't care at all. I liked the connection between like a human and her first car vehicle bond that they have.
I wish I would have got that. I can understand that point. 'cause
Yeah.
It's definitely driven in this movie, but it did not land for me.
And I'm not fighting that she didn't do a good job at acting. She did great, but that was it.
So
She was the only one.
So talk up more of the positives because I didn't like the last set piece at all.
So I liked mostly how, like I said, the Cybertron scene in the beginning.
Oh, that's
But we were introduced, I forget their names, so I apologize, but the two villains in this movie.
the made up just two Decepticons that come
They-
up. I like that they do make a joke about that they're like, wait, we're trusting something and their name is Decepticons?
Exactly.
That was funny.
They actually make fun of their own name.
That was funny. But no,
It wasn't that funny.
For John Cena, that's pretty funny.
Yeah, it's just another
if that
like
was the only thing he said in the movie, that'd be all right. But
It's more-
unfortunately, he kept talking.
it's more this 80s comedy that they're trying to like shove down your throat.
A little bit bombastic, was it?
No, it's not bombastic at all. Like, and the fight scenes are some of the best fight scenes that I've seen in Transformers movies because you can see what's going on. Like, I always hated just like Shia LaBeouf running away from shit.
Yeah.
And in this one, I don't like it when Haley Steinfeld runs away from shit
Okay.
because that's when it looks the most fake to me. you guys seem to like the CGI in this. I didn't like the CGI in this.
I
The
like-
stuff on Cybertron where it's all CG is fine.
Yeah,
Sure.
look good.
But then, like, sometimes when Haley Steinfeld is interacting with Bumblebee, you can totally tell that, like, there's this uncanny valley there.
Oh, sure.
And I didn't
Yeah.
like that shit at all.
I think for me, what more was a positive of was like the fighting sequences between robots looked like how they should fight.
Yeah, that's a nice added
Like
touch.
I said,
Yeah.
it was like watching the TV show. And
looks like-
that was nice.
And no Transformers have, like, truck nuts in this movie. Like, there's nothing dumb, or they don't piss oil or anything
Right.
dumb like that.
Or no
John
racial
Turturro,
slurs, nothing. Or
not a lot of cleavage and not a.
Nope.
Yeah, this is.
None of that dumb humor,
was
Michael
like-
Bay shit.
yeah, it looks like they took the time to like, okay, so if we were a giant robot, how fast can you swing, and how are robots actually fight at this build instead of just giant tackle blob Michael Bay.
Well, that's the one thing that always took me out of the other Transformers movies. Everyone's moving so fucking fast, and you're just like,
Yeah, it was actually nice to have. I mean, kind of a spoiler because I think it's in the trailer, but there is some actually voices in this film for more of the Transformers than just
Yeah.
here. This is his name, and that's all he has to say. The characters in the Transformers in this movie actually have some dialogue that contributes to a narrative.
So you like the Decepticon stuff more than the Haley Steinfeld Bumblebee stuff?
As far as dialogue,
Oh God, no.
as far as Transformers, well, Bumblebee's not speaking. I'm just saying compared to other Transformers movies talking and the actual robots talking.
Okay.
Robots talking in this film has been much better.
Yeah, I can get with you there, but it's still hammy. Like this whole movie is just like this big honey ball ham.
Oh yeah, no,
Yeah,
I'm not,
no,
I'm not disagreeing
yeah,
with you.
no one's fighting.
I'm saying this
that.
is the best it's been for as robot dialogue. As we approach our 2-minute warning here, any other points you guys want to throw out real quick?
No.
well, okay. So when I started this conversation, I'd seen
You
all
felt
the
pretty good?
Transformer movies, and
Yeah.
you guys talked it up and said it was pretty solid. And now this last like 5 minutes of conversation, I'm just like, maybe I'll wait till
I would.
home video.
I would.
I would wait.
Okay.
I would honestly
don't
wait.
spend money.
All right.
But I would say if I had to like rank it in Transformers movies,
Yeah,
it'd probably rank like middle of the road, like third.
yeah,
Probably.
I would could see
There's-
Really?
The first
Okay,
one's
I'll-
pretty good, and the third one has the best action ever, where they're in
Well, yeah,
Chicago.
probably.
So I talked about Daniel about this. Like, if I could take the action of Transformers 1 and take all the Michael Bay human stuff out of it and the
Yeah.
human stuff from Bumblebee into the first Transformers, that might be a good mix for me.
Yeah.
Sure.
But I'm not going to get that.
No.
Okay.
No, so.
I agree. Third one was probably the best action set pieces, but
And I will say that 1, 3, and this movie probably have the same rating, which I'll get to. But
Okay.
yeah.
We are vastly approaching there, so I think we should jump there.
All right.
2-minute warning. Who would like to kick it off with their review or their 5-star review of Bumblebee?
I have a feeling we're gonna have the same star rating.
You think so?
Yeah. So I will go first. This is very middle of the road movie for me. I'm rating it a 3 out of 5 because the strongest part was just like a girl in her car.
Oh,
And
man, this is so good.
all of the Transformers shit I really didn't care about at all. And there's so much ham and cheese to where like I didn't want any of that in a Transformers movie. I just don't want a Transformers movie.
Oh, I love this. Love this so much.
Why?
No, I love what you're saying
Okay.
because I like the things that you liked and disliked about it.
Yeah.
And where it lands on your scale.
Okay. Because we're about the same.
No, we're not.
Oh, no shit.
No, because we walked out of the theater and we're like, man, Jake either really loved this
No.
or he's gonna shit
Like I said,
all over it.
this is just like Venom for me.
So that's great. I wasn't expecting that.
There's
for you.
one central core that works, and if the rest of the movie doesn't, at least there's something that works here, so it makes it about average.
Awesome. That's
Okay.
great.
Well, actually, I'm taking this a step lower. I saw it also as middle of the road. I felt like it wasn't really meant for me. It was meant for kids. I was so bored through the middle of this, so it is a 2.5 for me.
Very nice. Middle of the road there. I was extremely. I'm not sure if I'm more so than Anthony, but I was just bored. Transformers stuff was good. Animation was good, but I generally just didn't like this movie. It was like a 2 for me.
Damn.
Yeah, I'm actually
I'm
surprised.
the highest one.
Yeah.
Dang, I
What
didn't think
the
you were going to
hell?
go that low. I thought you were going to add
I was
2.5.
I honestly thought I didn't need to see this movie after I left, and that's where it kind of lands on our scale. Like it has some good portions to it, but I could have watched it on rental and fast forward through a few parts.
This is another San Andreas. This is another Rampage. Like, it's there. You'll enjoy parts of it, but yeah, you don't have to see it if you don't want to.
And if you're a Transformers hardcore lore person, you're messed up.
No.
So-
Oh, yeah, you're definitely messed up, but they will. Like, this movie.
yeah, you're an asshole.
This movie is getting praised by critics, and I am baffled as to why.
That's what I thought too.
I don't know why.
Like, my main thing is just that it's 80s nostalgia, and that's when the Transformers were most popular. So if it's set in that decade, it's going to make them have the feels that they miss.
Well,
Yeah.
it's got an astounding like 93% or something on Rotten Tomatoes.
That makes zero sense to me.
Let me throw some stats at you. Opening weekend, 21 million. Domestic right now, as of Sunday, the 30th? 66 million.
What was the budget?
Domestic. Foreign, 90 million. And $135 million budget. So
It was that much?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And I think it's still
Yeah.
cut back in terms of Transformers budgets.
Well, yeah.
Probably.
I would
because The
imagine.
Last Night lost so much.
Yeah.
Well, but I mean, Transformers movies have always performed really well overseas.
Yeah. And this one's doing sort of the same. More so than domestic. So Metacritic was at 66, and Kevin, you're pretty close. Rotten Tomatoes was 93%.
That's pure insanity.
People like to dive right in, can you imagine that? And flap about in bathtub gin, can you imagine that? Doggies paddling 20 leagues below might seem real, but we know it's not so.
All right, our next movie that we're doing a 15-minute review is Mary Poppins Returns.
Mary Poppins.
Mary
As
Poppins.
I live and brave.
First impressions from me leaving this movie. I enjoyed it thoroughly. I thought there were some good pieces to it, but it felt a little bit out of place and out of time, but I'm not going to hold that against it completely.
That's what it was supposed to be. Like, this movie is supposed to be like, it's not. It's supposed to be like 20 years after the first one, but it felt like it was made like 3 years after the first one.
No,
I would agree.
This
Yeah.
was by far a remake, not like a sequel. They call it
It
Mary
was totally a
Poppins.
sequel.
Call it Mary. It hit beat for beat. If you watch, I watched the original Mary Poppins like 2 weeks ago.
Dick Van Dyke is a chimney sweep. Lin-Manuel Miranda,
He's a lamplighter.
totally different.
Yes.
They both have their posses. They both dance around what they're supposed to do, but they're different.
Yes, slightly different. His Lin-Manuel Miranda's accent is slightly better.
He sounds very happy every second of every day.
Honestly, that seems like kind of like Lin-Manuel Miranda is in real life. He's
No.
just like, look what happened. I'm famous somehow. It's cool.
I'm gonna ride my bike and light these lights.
So it's classic Disney fashion, though, to jump back to a source material and do the exact same thing.
Yeah. Oh no, I'm not saying it's
A surprise.
I'm not saying it didn't work. I'm
Oh,
just
yeah,
saying
sure.
it is exactly Mary Poppins.
The
again.
original Mary Poppins wanted you to have a spoonful of sugar for your medicine. This
Don't
lady
want you to
is
take a
real
bath.
dead set on baths. Totally different.
Well, that's one of the things I was thinking, like, okay, so the original Mary Poppins definitely still has some music that's iconic, but it's had time to become iconic. I don't know if this has that same touch. I'm interested to see if it will.
I liked this movie gradually got worse and worse with the music until the end.
Really?
Yeah. I loved the first song.
First song, the London song.
Yeah, Underneath the London Sky.
Yeah, I liked the first couple music beats actually. The first song that Ben Whishaw sang was heartbreaking.
Yeah. I like the
My wife is dead.
My wife's dead. Wait,
I'm
that's a spoiler.
so lonely.
Just kidding.
I like the
Who cares?
They released the soundtrack like 2 weeks before
Yeah,
the
they
movie.
did. We have no money.
in reference to your song comment, like I actually liked the very first bathtub song sequence.
That one was
That
my
was
second
fantastic.
favorite.
That was very catchy. I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
this is gonna be cool. And I would agree that some of the later sequences don't land merely to that degree.
You want to know where this movie jumped the shark for
Ooh,
me?
I hope it's the same moment that I thought I jumped the shark. Let's go.
Okay, so first they go into Cartoon World, which is fucking amazing.
That's great.
And that's in the trailer, so we're good.
And then they go into the big tent, and there's this big show that's going to happen, which is great.
Yeah.
And then they have a show, and Mary Poppins turns into like the girl from Chicago with that bob, and I'm like, oh fuck, I'm so in right now. And then Lin-Manuel Miranda decides to rap.
That was
He does his shitty Hamilton shit, and I'm like, oh no.
okay.
And then everything past that,
Downhill.
just bad.
I enjoy Hamilton. I like it a lot.
I do too, but don't put it in my Mary Poppins.
And now here's the thing that I've heard people say the whole time is, oh, I can't believe he would write that into there.
I don't know if you wrote that or not.
But what I'm saying is like people blame him for like the rap parts, and you're just like, it's 2018. Of course they're gonna do that.
That's bullshit. Just because it's 2018 doesn't mean you have to have rap in a Mary Poppins movie. I'm sorry. It's horrible rap too. Like
it's not good.
Hamilton rap is good.
What bothered-
This rap is just like you're just mumbling words. I don't like
What
this.
bothered me more about that scene was the fact that, and you compare it to the first one, Mary Poppins in the first one is very prim and proper, and always has to be, she's very British. And then you get to this one, and in that scene specifically, she is not prim or proper, and she just goes like takes a hard left for me and starts like getting down and dirty with her singing, and you're just like, what the
Yeah, she growls when she's
Yeah.
like, the London Ball.
Yeah,
Just like,
just like,
damn,
what
Mary.
the hell? I mean, I'm not saying it was bad. I enjoy Emily Blunt.
Yeah.
She was fantastic.
Yeah,
in
she
this.
No,
was good.
The first scene of her coming down on the fucking kite.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
It was great.
I got chills. I'm like, oh, shit, this is amazing.
Yeah.
Now, see, where this movie jumped the shark for me was a little bit different.
'Kay.
And it was, I don't know if it's a big spoiler, but obviously there's a big dance number with all the lamplighters, right?
Yeah.
You know exactly what I'm going for. All the lamplighters ride mountain bikes. At
They do
least-
BMX tricks.
They do BMX tricks in the middle of I'm sorry if it's a spoiler, but they
Who
do BMX
cares?
tricks in the middle of this fucking movie, and I just went, oh, what the
Yeah.
fuck?
I don't think we should care about spoilers for Mary Poppins because they're two totally different movies, and I guess there are spoilers in this. So if you've seen Mary Poppins, you know what happens in Mary Poppins Returns.
That's what I'm saying. It's the exact same movie as the first one.
See,
I was trying to do a bit here.
Oh, wait, you have a bit?
It didn't work.
I was entertained by that sequence.
You liked where they literally built a skate park into like...
I like the
Middle-
dancing. I like that's all practical effects. They're all doing
I don't
that.
mind the
Fucking
practical
show
effects.
choir boy over here.
I don't mind the practical effects. What bothers me is that they're literally going off vert ramps and like...
Well, they
Come
need
on,
they
man.
need to have
We're in a Mary Poppins movie. Anything can happen.
they need to have their chimney sweep moment, and that's exactly
of
what
course
this
they do,
does.
but-
So the balloons bother you at the end?
Yes, that
Oh,
scared
boy.
the fuck out of me.
No, the balloons. Actually, I was for the balloons.
You were for the balloons,
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
against the chimney
That was
sweep
that was
mountain
like
bike.
magical whimsy. This was like they inserted mountain bikes into a fucking like.
I think they were street bikes actually. Maybe
it sure
some
didn't
mongoose.
look like
I
them
think
at
they're-
that point.
I think they're a mongoose.
Obviously, some BMX. They had
That
pegs
music
on the back.
That music scene in particular was like 5 minutes too long. I thought it was gonna end at 3 separate points, and it just kept on going and going. I'm like, fuck, this is too much.
Okay, I agree with you there. There
we're
was
ripping on this movie, and I didn't hate it as much as I'm coming off as hating it. So
Sure.
let's stop like ripping on it. Let's
So-
go with what we liked.
So wait, I have one more bad thing.
Okay. wait, I have 7 more bad things that we need to talk about.
The first hiccup was the rapping, and then they go somewhere else, and they magically have to get something fixed. And the only reason why this part is in there is because it's fucking Meryl Streep. And this is the worst song by far for me. This fucking turtle bullshit, upside down turtle.
I would agree with you that there was a few sequences they probably could have cut.
They could have cut that whole 15-minute segment.
That's the cousin scene from the first one, where they go to her cousin and he's like laughing.
But that one's
laughing.
great where he's
Of
laughing at the
course.
ceiling. That one's fantastic.
Yeah, it's because it's not Meryl
And this
Streep.
one, it's topsy-turvy and Meryl Streep, totally different.
I would agree that was probably my least favorite song in the whole movie.
Yeah, I'm just like, why is this happening? And she's not, like, she's a good singer, but, like, whatever accent she's trying to do is miserable.
To your point, I think this is over a 2-hour film, and it feels like it.
It dragged so much.
Some positives, though.
Yes, let's go with positive.
The first 45 minutes.
I thoroughly enjoyed most the kids in this movie. They encapsulated the Mary Poppins kid feel.
Hey, John, you know how you're usually the one that
Oh, no.
has, like, a real shitty kid vibe?
Yes.
The 2 oldest are great.
Yeah, the younger kid was fucking
Georgie
awful.
can go rot in a garbage can
was
somewhere.
fucking terrible.
He was the goddamn worst.
Really?
Yeah, I hated
It was
that
not
fucking
good.
kid.
The other 2 kids, to your point,
They were good.
Were fantastic.
Yeah.
because they played the straight man throughout the entire movie.
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
they were perfect to play off of.
I liked what's his name, Ben Whishaw. Mm-hmm. I thought he was great as the kind of new dad, new Mr. Banks.
Well, yeah, I mean, he's George from the first one, right?
Exactly.
So,
No, he's Ben. He's the kid from
Yeah,
the first one.
it's not Ben though.
It's totally different.
Yeah, obviously.
Colin Firth is in this.
I loved Colin Firth.
I was
in this.
shocked. I didn't know he was in this.
Yeah, I thought he was great.
No,
love
Colin
Colin
Firth was
Firth.
great, and he played.
He's
He
good in
played
this.
against type too, which is great because he's usually the.
I wouldn't
that
spoil
bum-
this part, but yeah.
He's usually that bumbling like, I'm British.
King's speech bullshit.
I'm British but shy.
Let's leave the King's speech alone.
And instead, he was playing against type, and I thought he did fantastic.
I did too. I liked him a lot.
Did Emily Blunt hold the Mary Poppins magic for you throughout this entire film, other than like the dance number?
Yes. Otherwise, when she was just Mary Poppins, like acting like Mary Poppins the nanny, I thought she was stellar.
See, I liked her throughout. Probably my favorite part was when like the kids were like talking about their dead mom, and then she kind of like says a song to where like, oh, she's lost.
Right.
And
Oh, yeah, that's
there's a place to bring her back. I don't remember
There's
what
a
the fucking
place where
song's called.
lost things go. Is
That's
what it's
it.
called.
That's it.
Yep.
I was like, oh, this is fucking good. This is golden right here.
Yeah. Oh, no, she was fantastic in this movie.
Yeah.
So as a kid / Disney film, can kids appreciate this and take something away?
Depends on how old the
Yeah.
kid is.
A 3.5 to 4-year-old, no. because they will be bored as hell.
If your parents are art professors in New York, they might like it. But a normal kid, I don't think is going to like it. There were numerous kids in my showing, too. It was a packed house.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
Yeah, there were kids like fucking screaming, running amok.
Really?
Yeah, it did not keep their attention one bit.
I really liked the animated sequence.
Yeah, that was my favorite part of the
sequence was
movie.
great.
By far, hands down. Just because
when she shows up, it's fantastic.
Even though they retread that from the first movie,
They retreaded everything from the
but
first
it
movie.
still works. The animation,
Yeah, well,
the
of course.
technology has gotten so much better to where they can like do more things with that.
right?
So that impressed me the most out of anything they did.
I want to say one of my favorite animation sequences they've done in an original Disney cartoon for a while is there's a villain in the cartoon world.
Yeah.
And he has this evil eye effect they haven't
Yeah.
done in a long time.
It's been since it felt more like Great Mouse Detective.
Yeah,
style.
yeah, it had that.
It was like Radigan.
Yeah, yeah.
A Radigan look.
It really makes me want them to make a movie in that style, like a whole movie.
Yeah, they haven't done it in a long
Last
time.
one is Princess and the Frog.
Yeah, and that one did not go over well.
No, I didn't like the animation style in that one.
Yeah.
Especially
This one, I want a whole fucking feature-length movie of it.
I was actually worried about the CGI effects because there was some like the bathtub scene is very heavy CGI.
That
You
looks
know what,
good
though?
though.
You know
I
what,
like
I
that.
thought it looked
that
worked.
song. That song was solid.
My second best song.
Yep.
Yep.
That song was solid, and it struck the right humor note right away when she like got the bath ready, and then the dolphin came up, and she was just like, not yet.
It's on like a teeter-totter effect of like too much whimsy and like way too much whimsy. It's
Right.
like doing the perfect balancing act during that scene.
That's
just because
that
the song is
yes,
so good.
Absolutely.
If the song was not as good, I don't think that would have worked at all.
Well, I mean, if you think about it, that's their spoonful of sugar moment, right?
Yeah.
So in the first one, they're snapping and cleaning up their room, and the technology for that for back in the day was surprisingly solid. But the way that they did this one and they incorporated more of the characters from outside the Banks' house,
Yeah,
I liked it.
I would agree. I think you could
That makes
argue
sense.
that maybe the younger kids can't take something away from this, but it almost catered to adults who saw the original Mary Poppins, especially with the dad. And
It was a very weird dichotomy my theater going experience because it was either my parents' age
yeah,
or my daughter's age and their parents.
that was our 15-minute warning. So in the last 2 minutes here, we're going to give our reviews here. So I'll go and kick it off. Despite the majority of it was, I feel like we ragged on it a lot. We did. There's actually still a lot of good things here. I think it's whimsical, like Jake said. I think not all the music lands, but there's still some good music here. I think the takeaway for kids or adults, the message can be drawn. This is a 3.5 for me.
This movie is a good 2/5. Like the first 45 minutes was great. The rest of it, I could live without never seeing that again. But because the first 2/5 was so strong for me, it's going to get a recommend. It's getting 3 out of 5.
Very nice.
Once again.
So this is literally just a retread of the first one, but that doesn't mean that it's bad because the first one worked really well.
Yeah.
This one had it had some high notes. Emily Blunt was really good.
And they sing a lot.
They sing a lot of high notes.
Uh-huh.
Yep. Thanks, Jake.
Yeah.
And they had a ton of nods to the original. It was a 3.5 for me.
Very nice. Anthony, are you convinced to see this?
No, I'll wait until it comes out on DVD. Thank you.
Good boy.
That's a lot
Good
of.
call.
Oh, man. Imagine seeing this movie at home where you can skip through shit. Oh, that sounds
Or
glorious.
imagine if the take home has just the musical pieces that you can watch
You know it's going to.
and like little sing-alongs.
It's sing-along thing.
Yeah,
It's got-
that'd be.
Well,
I
see, I
tell
can
you
do
what,
that.
I've played this soundtrack for my daughter after the movie, and she digs the soundtrack.
Well, good.
It's the rest of the movie that she just did not like, and I can understand why. It had some moments where it was really fun, and the rest of it was just kind of meh.
Meh. I will say there's some emotional tugs that got me in there.
Mm-hmm.
The
No.
no?
No. I mean, the closest one was that song about their dead mom.
Yeah.
That
Well,
one-
there's 2 songs about their dead mom.
Both songs.
And both songs about their dead mom were actually pretty
songs.
affecting.
I'm in the attic and I'm sad.
All right, guys, let's jump into the last movie of our holiday meltdown here, and that is Aquaman. This was a highly anticipated, let me rephrase
What are you
that.
talking
Highly
about?
anticipated.
A
This
highly
was a
highly
movie.
marketed.
There you go.
There we go.
was a
Highly
movie.
marketed DC film. One of the things I want to get right off the bat is I thought this was a fun comic book action movie. I think it gets that part right.
It gets that part right the last half of the movie.
Along with that, one of the best CGI I've seen, as far as like consistently throughout the whole movie.
Yeah, it definitely sets a tone like real quick, and it never like escapes that style. And yeah, it works for Aquaman. It totally works.
If James Wan had a say in what this underworld ocean should look like, I'm glad he did, because it looked awesome. I actually really liked the world underneath the water. I thought it was awesome.
This movie tries to throw a lot of different genres in.
And
they're just trying to see what sticks.
I've heard it's more described not as a comic book movie, but more like a fantasy movie.
Oh, it totally is. Like the last half hour is very Lord of the Rings-esque.
I had my doubts with Jason Momoa, but I think he does a good enough job here as a hero. How'd you guys feel?
I was nervous because in Justice League he's this big douche bro, and I hated him in that movie. This movie he wasn't bad.
He's okay. He needed to shirt it up a few times.
One of the first things Anthony said to me when we left the movie, like, was it so hard to put on a shirt?
Well, I have a question. I have a question for you, for everyone at the table.
Yeah.
Did the exceedingly bad Justice League movie lower your expectations enough where it actually raised your opinion of this movie?
Yes.
I will say right now that this is a better movie than Justice League.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
Justice League was a
that's
turd.
not hard.
I'm just saying.
Batman vs. Superman was a better movie than Justice League.
But this wasn't much better.
I think they did a really good job steering the ship in a better direction for DC, even if they don't follow this path.
Yeah, I mean, I would argue I think there's one or two mentions of what happens in Justice League, but it's not remotely relevant.
Did he forget who the villain of Justice League was too?
He didn't say that.
They didn't bring it up at all.
But I think there's enough world building here that even if everything else falls apart, if Wonder Woman and Aquaman can keep their own storylines going, there's enough here to keep going.
There is, but I don't know if I want it.
No,
No,
it better
I'm
not.
Yeah, I'm not saying they need to, but if you're making a comparison to Justice League, this is a lot better than.
I mean, that movie tanked real hard. It was not good at all.
Yeah.
And that makes me, if I went and saw this movie, I would compare it to Justice League, and that's probably pretty much it.
Yep.
This movie is a mess at times, and it doesn't know like what area it wants to go down. But I still had a fun time because they try to throw everything in the kitchen sink in this fucking movie, and there's a lot of ambitious everything in this.
See, that's where I agree. When it comes to superhero movies, they don't always have to be emotional tugging, because usually they're not. But if they can have fun and entertain the audience, and the audience has fun too, then they've done something right.
The emotional shit I hated in this movie. I didn't want that in this movie.
It doesn't land.
The first half hour of this movie, I'm like, oh, this is going to be bad.
That's why I thought like they're trying like with every hero movie to land some kind of emotional pull, and most of them can't pull it off, and Aquaman unfortunately does not either.
Yeah.
So,
but this is like some of the worst I've ever seen in a superhero movie.
As far as emotional stuff?
Yeah, well, the first half hour, like backstory building, I hated every single bit of it.
Did you notice how they didn't rely on Jason Momoa for any of that?
That's probably why I hated it.
I'm not sure if he could have pulled it off.
No.
But
they have like kid versions of him, and that shit is stupid.
I think
I would rather have Momoa than the two kids that they have.
I gotcha. Relying on Nicole Kidman for that was also I didn't like that part.
A stretch.
Yeah.
Woof. I hated everything with her.
Nicole Kidman.
See, I didn't know if we were going to talk about that or not. Like,
she's not a spoiler. I mean, she's in the preview. She's the mom.
The first half hour is just like things before Aquaman's even born. This movie felt long.
Yeah, over 2 hours.
This one,
isn't it?
2.5.
Unfortunately.
No fucking way.
2.5 hours.
Did they not learn their lesson?
No.
It goes faster than the others. I will give you that. But there's still their slow parts.
This movie goes faster than Mary Poppins does. I will say that because it ends just like
hard.
with so much like fucking shit in your face. It's amazing.
Let's talk about that last part because it's pretty much I don't know what to call it. You've seen it from the trailers. It's a war. There's a lot of action going on screen, and their interpretation of sea creatures, I loved it. It's just so it's so bonkers.
It's so stupid that I'm just like, okay, you're going here. Bravo.
That's why I
James
liked
Wan.
it.
I will say that.
So it was driving me nuts to figure out who Mira was. She was room 406 in Zombieland.
Amber
Heard.
Heard.
His neighbor.
Heard.
Yeah.
Mara, and then the few scenes I actually liked with Nicole Kidman is when they got to use some really cool powers because they emphasized Mara's power, they emphasized what the ocean powers can give you, and those are some cool action sequences, and they actually do fight in this movie instead of just being a damsel in distress. I did like that part.
I mean, I guess whatever.
I don't think-
She also drives a underwater car.
Yep.
So did other
For no dumb reason. She's like, "Oh, it goes faster. Hop in."
I don't want to get in it. It's going to make me smell. Well, you already. It'll be an improvement.
You're right.
Okay, so the humor doesn't always land as
No.
well. Well, you didn't. You
Hey, at
shouldn't
least
think
they
it.
tried some jokes.
Their romance is horrible too in this. I did not think
No, it
once
was
that they were
awkward.
actually like falling for each other.
That was awkward.
It was dumb. There's a Pinocchio joke that's stupid.
Yep.
A lot of the humor in this is stupid. And James Wan, he has a style where he likes his zoom ins. And there's some zoom ins in this that I fucking hated. Like they just didn't belong in this movie. And they're not really in the last half of the movie.
I do like
That's James
Patrick
Wan.
Wilson though. I like him as an actor.
Yeah,
I don't know
Patrick Wilson is in this and Insidious and The Conjuring. Like he
Well, he's
loves James
basically-
Wan.
and
Yeah.
everything James Wan does, right?
Yeah, and plus we had a nice
not
surprise
Saw.
from William
William
Dafoe.
Dafoe.
Yeah, I love William Dafoe in this.
William Dafoe is the shit in this.
Yeah, he was. He was great. I like William Dafoe in most things.
And his
but
man bun.
Yeah,
Oh
no.
my god. So glorious.
Going back to like this, I don't know why this made me think of William Dafoe, but they did a particular effect. I'm not sure how they filmed it, but you know how they make it appear underwater, right? So all the hair flowing and how things should look underwater. Like they nailed it.
Is that why like everyone's wearing a wig in this fucking movie?
I
For
think
sure.
so.
It's gotta be.
I
Yeah.
heard is it Amber Heard's wig that's like all red,
Just
and
bright red.
terrible?
Yeah, bright red.
Yeah.
Looks like a Party City wig.
Yep.
It does, but I didn't care because this movie totally thinks that people in this world can wear Party City wigs as like their regular hair. Like that's just
Like her dad.
what they do.
Like his was like bright
Yeah,
red,
Dolph
too.
Lundgren. And I loved him in this movie too, just because it's like Dolph Lundgren is in this fucking Aquaman movie.
Yeah.
Like they know what they're doing. They're just being hammy to be hammy.
Yeah, like that's my reference to the comic books. Like they go over the top with like armor, they go over the top with like the city, and like even they pay a little bit of homage to what we used to think what Atlantis should look like, and now it's like this new Atlantis. They pay homage to that, and like yeah, it's a little campy with Ocean Master's helmet. Doesn't look quite right.
Yeah, and just the term Ocean Master is stupid as fuck.
Exactly,
But yet it's
title
Aquaman
be-
lore.
Ocean Master.
and they've acknowledged like how is fighting with a trident even practical? How's
It's
that
not.
exactly? But they
Yeah.
acknowledge that.
But a magical trident.
Yeah.
Oh boy, I gotta go search the globe for that.
Yeah, there's also like there are some creatures in this film that they pull I don't know some oceanic lore from, but there's the thing that Aquaman's trying to get that's going to turn the tide of this whole ocean battle.
Is it the Kraken?
I don't know how to describe it.
fucking
I don't
Kraken,
describe
isn't
it, but it totally caught me off guard and I loved it.
Okay. It did me too. And speaking of Mary Poppins, Julie Andrews is the voice of that fucking thing.
Yep.
That is awesome.
What
Yeah.
is it? Loch Ness monsters?
It's fucking crazy.
And it's
All right.
spoiler.
Yeah,
Cut it.
you
Let's cut
don't
it.
want to know about this
I
because
really
it's so
do.
out of fucking nowhere. I'm like,
Yeah, I really do.
fucking cool.
Yeah,
I'm
exactly.
in on this again. You guys are throwing everything at this, and I love the ambition that you're doing.
That's one thing I want to say. That ambition goes towards the fun that you're having.
But they only do it in like the last half hour of the movie.
Yep.
Like 30, 40 minutes.
Well, maybe
Like
we'll-
all the world building to this is just like, okay, whatever. It's just fucking Atlantis. There's weird fish people driving dumb cars and
Oh, see, I was different. I was enjoying like the going through the city, but also like the Blade Runner vibes. They go do 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 when they're going through the city with the 80s.
Super synthy.
Yeah.
I like the music.
Yeah.
But the city looked dumb as fuck. I didn't like
Yep.
that at all.
Well, I don't know what else you would do to make Atlantis look modern and cool underneath.
Yeah,
water.
I know. It's just we've seen it
Puts
before.
like Coke billboards up.
Exactly. Just a bunch of guys
This
laying on
one's sponsored
couches.
by Beats by Dre.
I think the reason why I like the last 30, 40 minutes is because they were trying to do something new that I haven't seen in a superhero movie.
Yeah.
Like everything else in this movie has been done by another superhero movie. So them trying to put their stamp like, hey, we're a superhero movie, but we're also Lord of the Rings, and nobody else can take claim to this because this is ours now.
I didn't enjoy the ending payoff as much as I wanted it to.
No.
Okay.
And there's an end credit scene that's very stupid too.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And there's a person we haven't talked about that they built up to be the villain that is just kind of there in a wet fart in this movie.
yeah. It's
it Black
it's not
Manta?
spoiler. It's not spoiler.
Yeah, Black Mana's in this movie, but
I was saying he was in the trailer.
He was
Yeah.
a plot device of anything.
I
Was he
like
not the villain?
he's the villain in this
Kinda.
movie. He's a villain.
He's a villain.
Yeah. But oh my, I want to talk more. I want to talk spoilers on this movie because it's so dumb. The way that Black Mana becomes Black Mana is so ridiculously dumb comic booky shit.
There, that's fair to say.
Does
I would
he get
agree with that.
stabbed by, like Steve Irwin.
part of this movie is like part Gladiator, where like it's brother versus brother, and they try to fight the battle to the
In
end.
the death octagon.
That's what it's literally
Circle
called.
Ring of Fire.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
I knew it was
Ring
something stupid.
of Fire from Bugs Life.
Again, another batshit crazy part. To start this battle, there's a fucking octopus playing drums.
I forgot about
Holy
that part.
shit! It's Little Mermaid.
I fucking loved it.
No, that's why I looked at Daniel. I'm like, this is awesome. They're just not giving it.
give
They
a
don't give
fuck,
it. They don't
do
give a
they?
crap.
I needed more of them not giving a crap in this movie. Like, a lot of this is formulaic and they have to go beat by beat by beat.
Sure.
But the last fucking fight in this movie, they don't give a fuck. They're like, we're all in. We're pushing all the chips on the table. You're either going to like this or hate it. And I love that they took the risk that they took in that part.
Yeah, I was saying it doesn't always pay off, but the aspects they got right are good. They're really good.
Yeah. They're throwing spaghetti at the wall, seeing what sticks. There's a lot to talk about in Aquaman.
There is. I encourage people to see it in theaters because I think it is worth seeing in theaters for the visuals alone.
Just for the last 40 minutes alone. It's worth it.
Yeah, but 2.5 fucking hours, man. That's
Too much.
That's a big ask.
Yeah. Go see one movie and then sneak into the last part of Aquaman.
Perfect.
There you go.
All right, I think I'm going to throw it your way first for our
right.
5-star review.
All right, so I'll take this one first. It was fine. It was better than Justice League. Man, I'm really going to throw some fire here. My rating is actually a little bit lower than what I would normally give. I gave it a 2.5. This was just watchable for me. It was fine. It was a movie about Aquaman. Not everyone's favorite character. I think
no one's favorite.
a lot of people
No.
make fun of this one, as well they should. Jason Momoa is fine, but again, needed to shirt it up.
They live under the water. What are they supposed to do?
He's growing as a man.
I know. 2.5.
Okay. Like I said, the fun ride that I had actually carried me a lot through this film. And the parts that were bad, I can quickly forget about because I just remember the pieces that stood out so much really stand out.
Yeah.
And this was one of those movies that felt like a summer blockbuster with everything going on, but hey, let's throw it in during the wintertime. Why not? Mm-hmm. There's some things I didn't particularly enjoy about it, but I think this is rated at 3.5 for me. I think it's better than average action movie.
Okay. I'll just come out and say it. This is like middle of the road DCEU for me. Like, I'd rate Wonder Woman and Man of Steel better than this movie. I would rate Justice League and BVS DOJ lower than this movie. So I think I'm at a 3 out of 5 on this one. I've been 3 out of 5 like all fucking day on
Nice.
all three movies that I've watched, because none of them have impressed me thoroughly throughout the entire movie, but there are parts in some to where like I can recommend parts of it.
Yeah, I totally get that.
So yeah, this is a 3 out of 5.
All right, just to wrap up this holiday movie meltdown, I want to ask you guys, out of the 3 movies we talked about briefly tonight, in comparison to December movies in the past, this feels kind of like we talked about this earlier, a little bit of a letdown. Would you guys feel that way?
There's a lot of like December releases that end up being a big letdown.
Well, so
Star Wars
can
was
you-
not.
I was gonna say, can you?
Well, come on.
Give me what happened.
Star Wars
came out
7
last
was
year.
not. That was instant classic.
Fuck, I enjoyed Last Jedi.
No one's saying that.
Okay.
Of course Star Wars is good. That's
Well,
what I'm
yeah.
saying. Like, come on, bud.
I know.
That's a hard. I mean, a hard push. Like it's Star
But
Wars.
that's a
It's
December
gonna,
one.
Yeah, but it's gonna get there no matter what.
Well, that's true.
I'm talking like a Marley and Me that fucking came out 10 years ago. Or Benjamin Button that came out 10 years ago.
Yeah,
Like
it's-
all that shit I don't care about. Those are all like 3 out of 5 movies.
Let me throw some movies at you then.
All right.
Okay.
Do it, John.
I was just about to look some up. So.
Okay, so December 2017, we had The Shape of Water.
Okay.
Ooh.
Which I mean,
Very good.
was a
Best
good movie.
picture winner.
Usually they
That's a
throw
good
out.
movie.
Usually they throw out
I
award
really like Shape of
winners
Water.
in like mid-December, and
Yeah.
I don't see it in this one. In this December release is what comes out is that's an award like contender.
The only one is Vice. And it's for acting.
Well, and even then it's some of them are just more like acting, smaller independent films that you're not going to see in your regular
Well,
theaters.
Zemeckis wanted that fucking doll Steve Carell movie to do something.
God,
but
that-
yeah.
Well,
got shit
as far
reviews.
as award winning, we had Sherlock and Holmes. Or I mean, Sherlock and Watson.
It's gonna definitely get the Razzie.
It's got 0 right now.
That's going to be
That
next
movie
year's shit show.
It actually rose from 0. It's at like 11 now or something.
shit.
I wanted to see Welcome to Marlin.
No, it looks
No,
fucking awful.
It's this year's downsizing. Just fucking stay away.
Let me-
right, so what
let me
else
keep
came
going
out?
here.
Yeah.
December 2017 also had The Disaster Artist, I, Tonya, The Last Jedi, Jumanji, which came big.
Jumanji,
I loved
we didn't see
Tanya.
till like February, and it was still in fucking theaters.
Yeah.
the
Jumanji is another 3 out of 5 movie,
Yeah.
so
I loved I, Tonya. Let's go
Yeah,
back.
I,
for a
Tonya's
second.
great,
That was
yeah.
a solid
But
movie.
then again, it's independent acting. I think
Yeah.
Lady Bird came out last year in
Lady
December
Bird
too.
was good too.
yeah.
The Greatest Showman and Downsizing was
That was-
some of
Greatest
December
Showman
movies
was
last
fun.
year.
Yeah.
I feel like there was more of a plethora there. Obviously, Star Wars is kind of an outliner because Star Wars always does good.
Yeah. Well, not always.
Not always, that's true. So from 2018 to 17, 18 is definitely a letdown.
Yeah, it seems like it.
Well,
Like big ones.
December is usually either like they don't know where to put it, so they just throw it in December, or it's award contention and they just kind of throw it before the cutoff date.
Yeah. So like hold on. The first time I actually went to a December like a Christmas movie, like it's become a big thing to like go to movies on Christmas, and I don't understand it, but we did it
don't
on
either.
in 2012 when we went and saw Les Mis,
Oh,
and like that was like a big like epic thing that they were trying, big awards contender. So now every time I go to like a movie in December, it's usually like a pretty big awards contender.
There's probably one big musical per year around Christmas.
Yeah, it
like
seems
La La
like it.
Land 2016, Greatest Showman 2017,
Yeah.
Mary Poppins this year.
As far as like variety, though, I feel like we got a good variety this year. Maybe not all of them were great. Yeah, for me, this was just like, hey, there's a bunch of movies to see. Maybe we really don't need to see them
Yeah.
after watching them.
Yeah.
But there's nothing else out.
We watched them so you didn't have to.
Exactly. That's kind of a little bit what it felt like.
Yeah. A battle of the average. That's what happened.
Yeah, that's a good. I like that right there. So, despite how we may feel about some movies that come out in December, let us know what your thoughts on the movies we saw. All right, guys, let's jump into the last portion of our show, and that is going to be I got trivia tonight for you guys, and I'm going to do a little twist. Sorry, Andy Guild. I'm taking his Metacritical, but turning it into Let's Get Rotten.
Oh, shit.
Oh no.
That stinks. Let's do this. Let's get rotten.
All right, so Let's Get Rotten is very close to our Andy Guild Metacritical. I'm going to have you guys give me a tomato meter off the movies I'm going to be listing, and based off how far you are away from the number, that gets added to your score.
You'll be fine.
Yeah. All right, so I got 5 movies here. I'm going to list off what they are. You guys are going to give me a tomato meter, and like I said, how far you're off will add to your total score, so the lowest score at the end wins. In comparison to what we usually do, I'm going to have you tell me if the audience score was higher or lower on Rotten Tomatoes, and compared to Andy, I'm going to give you guys a 5-point deduction if you get that right.
That stinks. Let's do this. Let's get rotten.
I like that.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, I've gotten it right several times, so give it to me.
Okay, this is obviously the year of 2018. We're at the end of 2018, so we're going to do some 2018 movies. Let's see how fresh it is in your mind.
I got what
The
you did
puns
there.
are so good.
Yep, you get it?
Tomatoes.
No, tomatoes. All right.
Let's do this.
All right. With a terrific cast and a visual razzle-dazzle, Crazy Rich Asians takes a satisfying step forward screen presentation while definitely drawing inspiration from the classic and still effective rom-com formula. What was the tomato meter for Crazy Rich Asians? Jake, I'm going to throw it your way first.
All right. I want to say the majority of critics like this. I'm going 84%. And
Okay.
I think audiences liked it more than 84%.
Okay.
I did high on this one too. I did 88%, and I said that they liked it less.
Okay.
I was at 84 and then I lowered it down. And I think it went at about 79% and the audience was higher.
Okay. The official tomato meter for Crazy Rich Asian is 91%.
God damn it, I should have.
And the audience was lower at
Oh,
78%.
fuck.
So I
me.
got neither. So
God damn
you said
it.
91.
Yep. All right, so after round 1, what are you guys' scores?
I have 7 points.
-2.
I have 12 points.
All right, there it is.
Bad gut reaction.
I don't think we've ever had a negative score on this before.
Well, give it time. I got lucky. This one I knew was high.
I knew it was 2. I didn't think it was that high.
Let's do this.
All right, guys, let's jump into our second movie. That is Ready Player One is a sweetly nostalgic thrill ride that nearly encapsulates Spielberg's strength while adding another solidly engrossing adventure in his filmography. What was Ready Player One's tomato meter?
I love this movie.
All right, Anthony, I'm going to throw it your way first.
All right, so I said this one's at 67. I think it was one of those that they did okay.
Okay.
And I said more. I said the audience liked it more.
All right, Kevin, what are you feeling?
I said 73%, and the audience did not like it as much. Audience was lower.
Okay, and Jake?
I was going to do 66, but then I jumped up to 68. So really close to you. And then I said audiences liked it more.
All right, the official tomato meter on Ready Player One is 72%.
Oh!
And the audience was higher
Yeah.
at 77%.
So what happens? You might subtract 5 points?
If you get this audience score
Okay.
higher or correct. All right, so after round 2, what are you guys sitting at?
I lost a point, so now I'm at 6.
Nice.
-2 still.
Hey, I was really close, and I gained a point. I'm at 13.
Still fairly close, though, because usually when we play Metacritical,
It gets crazy.
it gets crazy. So you guys are doing very well so far.
Shifts so much.
Yeah.
Let's do this.
All right, let's jump into the third movie. A lighter, brighter superhero movie powered by the effortless charisma of Paul Rudd and Evangelina Lilly. Ant-Man and the Wasp offers much-needed MCU palate cleanser. What was the tomato meter for Ant-Man and the Wasp?
Jonathan.
All right, Kevin, let's have you kick it off first.
All right, I said 85%,
Okay?
and the audience was higher.
All right.
Okay. I went 79%.
Okay.
Audiences win higher.
Okay.
I went 80 and more. So good to know that we're all close.
The official tomato meter is 88%. Fuck! And the audience score was lower at 78%.
Ooh, that
I was
actually
closer to the audience. God
was
damn
88?
it.
88.
Okay.
Fuck me.
All right, after round 3, what are you guys sitting at?
I went up a lot during that one. I'm at 15 points.
All right.
I'm at 6.
I am at 16 points.
Still a close game. I'm liking this. I'm liking
I went up
this.
3 that time.
Let's do this.
All right, movie number 4. Smallfoot offers a colorful distraction
Ew!
that should keep younger
So bad.
that should keep younger viewers entertained in a story whose message might even resonate with older audiences.
Kevin and I saw this together.
What is the tomato?
Unfortunately.
What is the tomato meter for Smallfoot? All right, so we're back to Jake. Jake, what was your guess on the tomato meter?
Well, I think that, again, super duper average, but I think it was higher on the average side. I'm going to do 58.
Okay.
And I think that, again, the audience and the critics, I think are going to be super close, but I think the audiences are dumb and like it a little bit more.
Okay.
Oof, I went.
Oh,
way
shit.
higher
So
than
then
that.
I went too high. So I'm at
know.
66, and I said they liked it less.
Ooh, I went 72.
Whoa!
Oh,
And the
man.
audience-
Thank God.
and
I
the
thought I
audience
went
was
too
higher.
high.
You thought it like, okay.
I went crazy on this one.
Yikes.
It's stupid. This movie's dumb, and people are
I thought
dumb
I was
too.
going to get judged for going as high as I
No, I went stupid. Go for it. Hit
All right,
me
so
up. How
here's-
many points do I have to fucking
did.
add?
Here's 20.
Yeah, right here.
I feel bad about this one. I'm going to,
All right.
Either Jake's really
I'm
wrong
scared.
or I'm really wrong.
I'm
and
scared.
Anthony's probably right where
Uh-huh.
he needs to be.
The tomato meter for Smallfoot is 75%.
oh, I'm done.
No.
Yes.
Oh, and the audience liked it?
Audience is lower.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
you bitch. You
Damn it.
fucker, John.
Sorry, it was 65%, not 85% for audience score.
Fucking A.
Okay,
Damn it,
so
John, get my hopes
75?
up.
75 for tomato meter.
I need to
and
bust out the
six-
calculator.
and 65 for audience score. All right, so after round 4, what's everybody's score at now?
I'm at 32. I'm fucked.
I'm at 10.
And I'm at 19.
Okay,
Damn,
okay.
You're too close. Too close. This is the last one, too, isn't it? Oh, fuck.
All right.
Let's do this.
Our last and final movie for Let's Get Rotten. A superb exercise in understated terror that puts to shame horror films that rely on jump scares and cheap theatrics in A Quiet Place. All right, Anthony, what was your guess on the tomato meter for A
right.
Quiet Place?
I went 84 and more.
Okay.
I went 93 and audience lower.
Okay.
I went 94 in audience lower.
All right, the official tomato meter for A Quiet Place is 95%.
Yes.
1 point off.
But
And
more.
the audience was lower.
Oh
what I
my
thought.
god, I still got it. Oh,
Yeah,
I just-
Kevin just won.
All right, after all the calculations are said and done, 5 movies later with tomato meters. What's everybody's final score?
Well, I'll go first because I'm in last place, I'm guessing. But I got -4 points on that round, so I'm at 28.
Very nice.
I screwed the pooch on the last one. I was winning the entire time until I got 21 points on this last round. So, Kevin, go
You
ahead.
got 21 points on?
Oh, no.
You got 21 points on one round? Jesus.
No, I
Final
have
was-
11.
Yeah.
Yeah, I ended up with 16.
Wow, turnaround.
Very good, Kevin.
That's-
All right, well, I hope you guys had fun. Kevin takes away the victory in a twist to Indie Guild's Metacritical called Let's Get Rotten.
That stinks. Let's do this. Let's get rotten.
All right, that being said, that's been episode 69 of So Many All-Stars. You can find us on all kinds of social media. You can find us on Facebook at So Many All-Stars. You can find us on Twitter at SMASPod. You can find us on Instagram at So Many All-Stars.
You can find me on Instagram at SteelbookObsessed. I put my top 9 posts of the year up today for the new year and whatnot.
Nice.
Yeah, everybody likes shots of like the side art of my fucking spines on my steelbooks.
Oh, yeah?
It's weird. Like that was every single one.
And
One, I put up a post today on my YouTube channel, Cinema Obsessed. I reviewed Bird Box, Netflix original. I didn't talk about that today, so go
Yeah.
over there and take a look.
yeah, I watched it.
I did too.
And we're not talking about it.
I did not.
It's not that bad.
You can find So Many All-Stars on all your podcast services. Make sure to check us out on YouTube, where you can also find Jake Cinema Obsessed, so please like and subscribe there. We'll be doing our year-end stuff here shortly. We're going to kick things off with our video game awards and then our top 5 favorite video games of 2018. So hopefully that's a good discussion there.
And I think we're going to do video for that. We're going to attempt it at least.
We're going to try to do another video special like we did last year.
We'll see how it goes.
Yep. And then also later in January, we'll do our top 10 movies of 2018. Once we kind of wrap up our final thoughts on our top 10 list, because I think there's a lot to consider there. A lot came out this year. A lot.
I still have like 6 movies to watch.
Yeah, that's why I wanted to do games before movies, because
Yeah.
there's still at least 10 movies that I need to see.
Yeah, there's a bucket list here.
I've been catching up,
Good.
but yeah, I
Very
still
nice.
need to catch up some more.
That being said, audience, thanks for listening. Guys, thank you for joining me. We'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.
Crab people.
Game over, man. Game over.
I am out of here.